Hello and happy moon phase to my Leos. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading. Leos, let's do it. Let's see what your cards have to say. Happy full moon phase. We officially had a fully illuminated moon on the 27th of November while we are in a waxing gibbous moon phase, trying to get ready, prepared, or get ourselves mentally prepared for this last quarter moon phase, like closing out a cycle. Source is saying to you, pay attention to all of the messages that's coming through, because this full moon that we had was in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury, while it's not retrograde yet, it won't be retrograde officially until December 13th. It is currently in pre-shadow retrograde. So listening to all the messages that's coming through and journaling, the dreams that's being downloaded, all of that's going to make all the sense in the world, to you, so that you can move on. So feminine energy, the Hierophant card. Here we have the Knight of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Five of Swords, and the Six of Swords. Somebody is still being very stubborn. Here we have the Hierophant card, right? Somebody is kind of hanging on. Either you're connected to some kind of spiritual or religious beliefs. And we're not talking about necessarily biblical, religious. For some reason, I just can't, being bullheaded about some things. I just can't move. What's wrong? Why can't I move beyond something? And it could be the energies that you're around. I mean, quite frankly, they could be driven by money. Time is money. They could be driven by something. And so source is saying to you, or you could, like I said, you could be connected to somebody. You really feel like, okay, well, something having to do with their frustration with money, whatever that means. Like they could be frustrated with them financially, and as a Leo being a very loyal sign, like all fixed signs are very loyal to whatever fixed signs are loyal to, it could be hard for you to move on. So I do see your anxiety going away soon. Here we have the Five of Swords. Source keeps telling you, it's two energies in particular that you need to completely detach from. But like I said before, it really is up to you to really pay attention, to listen to source. Here we have the Six of Swords. You do have an ancestor that's going to come through and help you to move on from something, give you the strength that you need to start the healing process with something. So that's why I say be mindful of even your dreams and your downloads. Loved ones here, physically here, and also in your dreams. So if you find yourself like, man, I had a dream about so-and-so last night. They told me to move on from something. That's the voice I needed to hear, because I kind of been struggling. You got to remember that when we're sending and receiving mode, not only do you have to contend with the past memories. Oh my goodness, you always got to deal with what's going on in your life today at the very moment. And the only thing that really matters is right now. Source is saying, what was the lessons that you learned about those energies from the past? And Source kept telling you to move on from those energies, Leos. And like I said, it could be somebody's belief system, or somebody's just so stuck on it that they just can't move beyond the hurt, the pain, the whatever. And you're definitely heavy on some people's minds. See, this may be an incentive for somebody. The King of Pentacles came out, the wealthiest card in the deck, right? Source is saying, but the wealth is not just money. It's not just whatever the currency is in your country. It's also the wealth of knowledge, discernment, wisdom, tenacity, also the wealth of patience with yourself. Not necessarily I gotta wait to see what happens, because again, source is saying something is happening. Here we have the Page of Cups. You're definitely heavy on some people's minds, but for some of you all, love is just gonna come out of nowhere, and it's just gonna be like, oh my God, that's what I needed to move on. Like I was holding on to this thing over here so much so that I didn't even see this love just kind of bam out of nowhere, because this is what somebody desires. A really, really peaceful household and a peaceful life. But you got to release something else first when you talk about operating in faith. And everything is lining up perfectly for you. Everything is lining up perfectly for you, right? And then we also have the Ace of Wands. If somebody is looking at it as like, and then also the Four of Pentacles. Don't spend a whole lot of time on it, because things are working itself out the way it's supposed to work itself out. And, somebody else could decide, hey, they moving on. Problem solved. Whatever it is. But if you're looking at it as like, oh, I won, I knew it, Somebody missed the whole lesson. That's pride right there. And you're going to have to keep on repeating cycles until you get the message. So that's a hard part. That's a big, hard pill for people to swallow, is that they have to move on from something in all elements of life. You're fired. I can do it. I got to hang in there until I almost burn myself out. I got to hang in there with this thought. Or emotionally, I just can't let this go. Even when people say, oh, I hope they get the help that they need, you're still tied to the emotions. They still have some level of access to your universe. Your words, if you're still talking about it or still overthinking it. Okay, I had a dream about it last night. Okay, God, I need to get this out of my universe. Okay, replace it with something positive if it's something negative. Or somebody spending an enormous amount of time on something that's source. I keep trying to tell you to move on from something, but you can either make room for this to come in, or you can spend it on something, some kind of hurt. So again, this is the first card that came out. Somebody is still stuck to something. Here we have the 2 of coins, the 10 of cups, the ace of cups, the 9 of coins, the 6 of coins, and the death card. Yep. So something could end. Something could definitely end. And with something, I can't say could, it is ending. Something is ending permanently so that you could move on from something. So here we have the 6 of coins. And this is some kind of an approval for money to come across your path. But again, you don't know where it's coming from. It's actually coming from source, but you don't know exactly how it's going to come through. And here we have the 2 of coins. And again, I want to keep something else. Somebody also something. If you always in this, I got to win no matter what. I don't care who I destroy in the process, Leo. And I know I don't have to tell you this, but I'm only telling you what I'm seeing in the cards. You could literally be hurting the people that love you the most. So maybe keep that into consideration, because sometimes people are so, like I said, I would say this to any fixed sign. Sometimes you can be so fixated on something that you don't even realize you ruining the people that you love, like ruining their view. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know. Okay, I don't even want to have anything to do with that. So you got to decide whether some things are worth it for you. Here we have the Ace of Cups. I do see, overflow of wealth coming across your path, but again, it's not just money. And I do see somebody, in a very harmonious, loving situation, both in your personal and your professional life. So whatever it is, source is saying, okay, it's time to get in. I mean, and it keeps coming out in your cards. Somebody is pouring a lot of time into something that source has told you to stop being so stubborn and moving on from. So remember, when we talk about in receiving mode, it's not just receiving of more money. You're talking about receiving what, even though time is relative, more time where you have a very happy, peaceful life, so that's what source has been trying to tell somebody. The moon is going to move into Cancer. So here are your questions. First question is, and if you go look at other videos, you may see 12 questions, right? I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. But so if they're watching your videos, they're going to get these 6 questions. If you're watching their videos, you may get 12 questions, but it's all centered around sacral chakra, like water, the element of water, since we're moving towards the moon in Cancer. First question is, what makes you feel safe? Second question is, where is your sanctuary, your place of peace and calm? Is it an interstate, a certain environment, or specific place? Third question is, do you know your female lineage and the story of your mother and grandmothers? Fourth question is, how often do you gather strength from the land and her waters? And then last but not least is, do you have sufficient solo time filled with self-care? Those are your questions. Here's your number, and let's go ahead and close it out again. Happy Midweek Wednesday. You may be watching it on Tuesday, but yes, something is definitely coming to an end. Something is being broken down, like somebody's religious beliefs. Somebody is really returning back to pure consciousness in a sense of awareness and deepening your spirituality. So you're getting a deeper relationship with Source. And that deeper relationship with Source is going to help you to not see things in a competitive way, more or less see things from a spiritual standpoint. Like, I want to have better relationships with people, and not just on my term. I got to also be in receiving mode of what their definition of better relationships are with people as well. Here we have diplomatic. Number 2, you have a great talent for finding solutions. Your intuitive and your unbiased nature allow you to see things from all sides of any situation and advise others towards the most fair and beneficial outcome. Let me give somebody an example of what I'm talking about here. I feel like say, since we have family situations here, right? You may have your idea of how you want a family situation to be, but if you already go in and you trying to compete with somebody's mom or dad or their belief systems, and you want to talk about how they weren't raised properly, guess what? You fell in love with somebody that you feel like they weren't raised properly, just the way you met them. So if you're going in and you're saying, okay, they seem like they were raised by a pack of dogs, or did you know this about their family? Like, people talk so negatively about other people's family, but what about yours? Like, that's is like, and if you came from a family where people gossip and talk and do all of this other stuff, and sources saying, but hold on, you're leaving yourself open for people to talk negatively about your family, right? Sources saying all of this wealth right here is combined. Your family, their family, because I'm saying for somebody, because I'll again, take only what resonates with you. If you're going in that way, something's wrong with their family, and their parents raised them a certain kind of way. And so it's like, well, your parents raised you a certain kind of way too. And guess what? You all are growing in love together, looking at this right here. And if you're single and you desire to have this, if you're gossiping about this side of the family, if you don't think they're picking up on energy and downloads and dreams and stuff are coming through, they're picking up on that energy as well. That's what I'm saying. Source is trying to tell somebody, in this stubbornness, something has to end. Something has to end with I'm bullheaded and I can't detach from certain ways of thinking and dark, toxic feelings. When we talk about death, this card is attached to Scorpios. We're not talking about any Scorpio that you know. What we're talking about is Scorpio being ruled by two planets, Pluto and Mars. Somebody is putting all their energy, Mars is the energy planet. Somebody is putting all their energy towards death, something ending, versus putting it towards a rebirth, a beautiful transformation, a metamorphosis that could occur from all of this, that could come. And so you're going to have an ancestor your ancestor is coming through, whether a dream or something, and that's going to say to you, hey, look, if you're in this, I would rather fight than get along with people. You're going to keep finding yourself in the same cycles, versus I would rather get along with people and at least be in receiving mode of how they were raised, and I know how I was raised. This kind of thing, that's what's going to make somebody very wealthy. Because otherwise, like I said before, somebody's spending way too much time being stubborn. I just can't move. Well, they said this. Oh, okay. So it's just this right here, the way to get to the King of Pentacles is also being very mature and using your time wisely. I'm not spending a whole lot of time digging up research, trying to find out what's horrible about somebody else's family. I got to look at myself and ask myself, why am I like this? So here we have affirmations for acceptance. I accept myself as I am. I accept what is without resistance. I have the power to choose my actions. I have the power to create change. I practice patience with myself. I am loved. I am not alone. I am at peace. I'm trying to tell you, that's what somebody is afraid of. Somebody is afraid of, I lost something and I'm not at peace with it. So I have to be bullheaded because I'm not at peace with something, instead of accepting what source wants you to accept, so that you can be in receiving mode of. Imagine if people really operated, for those people who are religious, because we're talking about religion here. That's the first card that came out here. Imagine if somebody really operated from the Boaz, Ruth, and Naomi narrative. I mean, really resonated with that. You don't have to wait until somebody dies or something goes wrong where somebody is grieving before somebody decides, hey, I want to get along with people. That's what I have for you. That is what I have for you. And hopefully those questions will help somebody. But somebody is, like I said, this is the first card that came out of the deck. And first card that came out of the deck. So somebody deciding, hey, I'm not like that. I'm a good person. I need to detach from certain types of people who are dogmatic and prideful, and people who use somebody will get the message. Source will make it crystal clear. And a loved one, like I said, is going to come down. So I hope you all are journaling your dreams. Here we have the Ace of Wands. Your third eye is open. Here we have the 10 of Wands and the 7 of Wands. I do see somebody sitting down, visualizing, I don't want to be attached to anything that's going to burn me out or cause my self-esteem to be low. I don't want to be attached to that. That's what I'm saying for you all. Like I said, your third eye is open about 2 situations in particular. And I do see you being booked and busy and not burdened and bitter by anything. Here we have the 2 of Hearts, the Ace of Hearts, and also the Jack of Hearts. Nobody's coming to save you. This right here. If you're looking for somebody to add on to how you feel to justify why you feel the way that you do, you're not going to find anybody unless they have some kind of an ulterior motive. It's one thing to say for a person to say, hey, can't everybody just get along? Like, what is it? And then if they say that, you may come back with, no, but you don't understand. They did X, Y, and Z to me. And the person may say, well, how do you not know that I understand? How do you know I've not been through that same exact thing that you went through? But if they jumped on and said, you know what, yeah, because I had that same experience, and it's the jumping on the bandwagon of negativity, source is saying, no, you got to ask what their motive is. Here we have the 2 and Ace of Cups. And again, Ace of Cups came out twice. Somebody has 2 situations in particular. Somebody has just been able to accept certain things about themselves. And then we also have the 2. So I see soulmate. Soulmate energy is not in your life or coming across your path, because I'm seeing your circle of people change. A bunch of creatives sitting around pouring fresh water. It is not about the negativity. So, because if your first thing out of your mouth is something is wrong with somebody else, it's time to look in that mirror. It's time to look in the mirror, because sources like you can come into stuff competitively if you want to, unless but or you can come in and say, I don't have any competition. And instead of me looking at somebody else's problems and issues, let me look at myself. Let me see what kind of family I came from. Let me see who played a role in me being the way that I am. So Source is trying to bring some energies together and have a very harmonious situation without a bunch of drama and chaos and confusion, right? That's what I have for you. I will see you all on Freedom Friday. Bye.